Med bay lights
seeking
burned.
energy.
Everything
We found
smelled
something
like
far
cold
greater.
metal and antiseptic.
Understanding.
Captain Aric Voss sat on the edge of the alien medical table, armor stripped down to his undersuit, boots still dusty from the ruins of another battlefield. His face was tired but calm, the kind of calm that came after surviving things no one else should. A thin scar traced aside his jaw, glinting faintly under the sterile light. The alien medic's hands trembled as she held a scanner over his chest. Her translucent blue skin shimmered, her large eyes darting nervously to the half-eaten piece of alien fruit sitting beside Voss. The fruit pulsed faintly, veins of purple light running through its surface. "You shouldn't have eaten that," she whispered. Her voice was melodic, but her tone cracked. "That's Lathka. We use it for executions." Voss raised an eyebrow and took another bite. The skin of the fruit split with a hiss, releasing steam. "Tastes like burnt apple pie," he said, chewing slowly. The medic gasped and stumbled back. "That fruit kills in seconds. Even touching it without gloves burns." She stopped. The scanner in her hand flashed red. The reading was impossible. His heart rate was rising, but not in distress. His blood oxygen levels were increasing. His temperature. "Your blood is heating." She breathed. "It's alive." Voss swallowed the last piece of fruit and smirked. "Guess it's mutual." The lights flickered. The med bay door slid open, and Commander Zarth, the ship's captain, stepped in. A tall insectoid alien covered in iridescent armor. Zarth towered over everyone. His compound eyes narrowed at the human. "Explain this," he hissed. "The readings say his cells are consuming the poison. That's not possible." Voss didn't answer. He leaned back, resting his elbows on the table, looking almost bored. "You wanted to volunteer for your biology exchange program. Congratulations, you got one." Zarth's antennae twitched. "You ate a banned substance." Voss shrugged. "You left it on the counter." The medic stepped forward, voice shaking. "Captain Zarth, he's changing. Look." She turned the display toward him. The screen showed human blood cells surrounded by shimmering threads of blue energy, the fruit's toxin. Only, instead of destroying the cells, the toxin was bonding with them, fusing, adapting. Zarth hissed in disbelief. "He's merging with it." Voss looked up. "We call that Tuesday." The medic's voice cracked into a whisper. "It's rewriting his DNA." Voss rolled his shoulders. He could feel it now, the slow burn spreading through his chest, down his arms, into his bones. It didn't hurt, not exactly. It felt like waking up from a long, dark sleep. His vision sharpened. Every color seemed brighter, alive. "Relax," he muttered, glancing at their panicked faces. "Humans are good at this kind of thing. Adapt, improvise, survive. You know, the usual." The medic stared at him, eyes wide with fear and fascination. "You're not adapting, Captain. You're evolving." Outside, the ship shuddered. The deck plates vibrated as alarms began to sound. Zarth turned sharply. "Report." Through the intercom, a voice replied. "Commander, the toxin has entered the ventilation system. It's spreading." The medic froze. "That's impossible. The Lathka doesn't vaporize naturally." Voss stood, the light from the ceiling reflecting off his now faintly luminescent skin. "I think I might have helped with that," he said, voice calm but heavier now, deeper. Zarth's mandibles clicked in panic. "You're a contagion. We must contain you." He raised a clawed hand toward the alarm, but the human moved faster. Voss grabbed his wrist, eyes glowing faint blue. "Contain this? I didn't start your mess. Commander, you tested me." Zarth struggled, but the grip was like iron. The human skin radiated heat, not scalding, but unnaturally warm, pulsing in rhythm with the ship's warning lights. The medic cried out, "Captain Voss, stop. You're destabilizing." Voss released Commander and stepped back. His breath came slow and heavy, his hands trembling slightly. "Maybe," he said, "or maybe I'm stabilizing for the first time." Minutes later, the med bay filled with smoke. The ventilation ducts pulsed with blue light. Every sensor screamed warnings. Toxin levels rising. Systems overheating. Containment field breach. Zarth barked orders through his comms. "Seal the med bay. Vent the chamber if you have to." The medic hesitated, torn between duty and horror. "If we vent it, he'll die." The commander's response was cold. "He's not human anymore." Voss chuckled under his breath. "Funny," he said. "That's what they said the first time we left Earth." The medic's eyes softened. "You're burning from inside. How are you still standing?" He looked down at his glowing hands, the veins under his skin now flickering like tiny lightning bolts. "Because we don't stop when it hurts. We stop when it matters." The ceiling cracked. Energy arcs crawled across the walls. The med bay light shattered, plunging everything into a swirling storm of smoke and blue glow. Through the haze, the alien medic reached toward him. "Captain, you'll destroy the ship." Voss met her eyes, calm and certain. "Then get out." "But now." She ran. The door sealed behind her. Voss stood alone in the smoke, the ship groaning under the pressure. His reflection on the metal floor shimmered. Human shape, alien light. He felt the heat rising, the fire building, and yet his voice was steady. He whispered to himself, "Let's see how much a man can burn before the universe notices." The med bay exploded in light. Smoke rolled like fog through the ruined med bay. Fractured light panels flickered on and off, casting flashes of orange across molten steel. The air shimmered, heavy with heat and static. Somewhere deep in the ship, containment alarms screamed. A mechanical heartbeat of panic. And at the center of it all, Captain Aric Voss stood, surrounded by fire that refused to burn him. His breath came slow, controlled, deliberate. The fruit's toxin, the Lafka essence, had not killed him. It had changed him. His reflection rippled in a shattered med screen, eyes faintly glowing, skin streaked with blue veins of light that pulsed like electric rivers. He reached out and touched the metal wall. It hissed under his fingers. The alloy softened like wax near flame. He pulled his hand back and muttered, half amused, half terrified, "Guess I'm a lab experiment now." Outside the med bay, chaos consumed the alien ship Viral's grace. The corridors glowed sickly blue as the toxin turned energy mist spread through the vents, reacted with the ship's synthetic atmosphere. The crew, insectoid, avian, and reptilian, rushed in panic, sealing hatches, shouting commands. None of them dared to go near the human section. In the command center, Commander Zarth slammed his claws onto the table. "Lock it do. W. N," he shouted. "Nothing leaves at Decaliv." "E." A junior officer hesitated. "Sir, the human, he's still Ensid." "E." Zarth's mandibles twitched. "Exactal." "Why?" But inside that sealed corridor, death refused to follow orders. Voss stumbled forward, steadying himself against the wall. Each step left behind a faint glow, the deck plates absorbing the strange radiation pouring off him. Pain crackled through his body, but underneath it, something else pulsed. Strength, energy, power. His voice echoed in the empty corridor. "This is new. Pain that feels like fuel." He reached the airlock. The control panel was dead. He placed his hand on it, and the panel flickered to life, the circuits lighting up under his palm as if responding to him. The door hissed open. The corridor beyond was filled with smoke and frightened whispers. 2 alien guards raised their rifles. "Stay back, human." The toxin. Voss stepped into the light. "Yeah," he said softly. "I noticed." The guards hesitated. One fired. The plasma bolt hit Voss square in the chest and vanished. The energy spread across his armor like liquid lightning, absorbed into the glowing veins beneath his skin. He looked down, brushed off a wisp of smoke, and raised an eyebrow. That tickled. The aliens dropped their weapons. Minutes later, the med bay doors hissed open again. Dr. Lyra, the alien medic who had tried to save him, stumbled in with a small scanner in her trembling hands. Her eyes widened when she saw him standing there, alive, breathing, smiling. "By the stars," she whispered. "You're impossible." Voss tilted his head. "That's been said before." Her voice shook. "The toxin, it's no longer spreading. It's stabilizing around you. Whatever you become, you're containing it." He frowned. "Containing, huh? You sure I'm not the source?" Lyra hesitated. I don't know, but your body is regulating the energy field. The ship's sensors are reading you as the new environmental core." Voss blinked. "You mean I'm running the life support system?" "Essentially, yes." He grinned faintly. "Guess that makes me the ship's heartbeat now." Elsewhere, Commander Zarth watched the readings in disbelief. "The toxin field is neutralizing?" "How?" A science officer replied. "It's him. The human's bioenergy has merged with the containment network. He's powering it." Zarth's eyes narrowed. "That's not containment. That's control." He slammed his claws against the console. "He's becoming a weapon, and I will not let a human command my ship." Back in the med bay, Voss leaned against the table, breathing slower now. Lyra stood beside him, her scanner still glowing. "Do you feel pain?" she asked softly. He smirked. "Do I look like I don't?" "I mean inside." He paused. The smile faded. "Always." For a moment, silence filled the room. The hum of the ship, the flicker of light across their faces. Then she said quietly, "You could leave. Escape before Zarth destroys what's left of his vessel." He shook his head. "Can't. I'm linked to it now. If I go, the whole system collapses." Lyra's voice broke. "Then you'll die." Voss smiled, that weary, fearless smile that had followed him through 100 wars. Wouldn't be the first time. The ship groaned. Red lights pulsed overhead. Zarth had ordered the reactor to overload. Lyra's console flashed. "He's triggering a purge. He's trying to burn you out." Voss straightened, eyes glowing brighter. "Then I'll give him what he wants." "What are you doing?" "Something human," he said. He pressed his palm to the floor. Blue fire spread outward, racing through the corridors, merging with the failing systems. Power surged back into the engines, shields, and life support. The Viral's grace shook violently as the human's energy bled into every circuit. Zarth's command crew screamed as the lights turned blinding white. "He's rewriting the power core." Voss's voice boomed through the ship's intercom. "Commander, you want to be contained? Congratulations. You're in my bloodstream now." The ship went silent. Every monitor, every display, all flickered to life, showing the same image, a faint outline of Captain Aric Voss, standing in a storm of blue light. His voice was calm. "You tried to test humanity, Commander. You forgot we don't break easy." Then the ship lurched forward, faster than light, engines roaring like thunder. Dr. Lyra shielded her face in the light as the stars outside stretched into infinity. Voss turned to her, voice soft beneath the chaos. "Hold on, document. We're about to see what happens when fire learns to fly." The stars bent. They didn't streak like light through glass. They folded, twisting into ribbons of impossible color as the Viral's grace tore through space faster than any drive should allow. The hull should have shattered. The reactor should have melted. But it didn't, because the ship wasn't running on a reactor anymore. It was running on high. Captain Aric Voss stood motionless in the center of the Med B. Or what was left of it. Every console hummed with a strange rhythm, pulsing in sync with his heartbeat. Blue veins of energy crawled across the walls, branching like lightning trapped in glass. His reflection stared back from every polished surface. Human, but surrounded by the glow of something far beyond human. The ship breathed with high. When he inhaled, the vents sighed. When he clenched his jaw, the engines growl. He wasn't controlling it. It was listening. Dr. Lyra stood a few meters away, her four-fingered hands trembling as she adjusted her visor. Her voice was small, disbelieving. You're interfacing with the ship's neural core. Voss opened his eyes. They glowed like twin suns under frost. No wires, no cables, he said quietly. It's instinct, like moving a muscle you didn't know you had. Captain, she whispered, you're linked to every system. Life support, engines, navigation, even defense grids. He tilted his head, feeling the hum of the ship deep in his chest. Feels like the ship's talking to me, not in words. And emotions. What do you feel? He frowned. Fear. Outside, the void shifted. The Viral's grace emerged from hyperspace into chaos. A derelict battlefield drifted before them. Broken dreadnoughts, shattered moons, debris frozen in orbit. Old wreckage from a forgotten war. Lyra's breath caught. This is the outer silence. No one comes here. Voss's voice was distant. Someone did. He could feel the ghosts of engines long dead, the faint echoes of battles that had burned entire civilizations to ash. Something about this place felt familiar, like an old wound that had never healed. Why did the ship bring us here? She asked softly. He looked out the viewport, the reflection of stars dancing across his glowing eyes. Maybe it didn't. He pressed his hand against the console. Maybe I did. On the command deck, Commander Zarth and his officers stared in horror at the readouts. Power levels rising, one shouted. The ship's navigation is offline. It's moving itself. Zarth slammed a clawed hand on the console. That human is rewriting the system architecture. Another officer turned, panic in her voice. Sir, sensors are detecting something ahead. A structure. Zarth leaned forward, his antennae twitching. A what? The view screen flickered. Out of the debris field, something massive emerged. An ancient alien installation, a black citadel the size of a small moon. Its surface pulsed faintly with golden light, like a dying heartbeat. Ancient design, the science officer whispered. Precursor tech, thousands of years old. Zarth's eyes widened, and we just jumped directly to it. Down below, Voss felt it before anyone saw it. A low vibration echoed through his body, not mechanical, not sound. A signal. Something's calling, he muttered. Lyra looked up from her scanner. Calling. He nodded. It's human. Her eyes widened. That's impossible. But the signal grew stronger, weaving into his thoughts like a whisper in his bones. A voice, distorted, echoing through the hum of the ship. Aric Voss. He froze. His pulse matched the rhythm of the words. Who's there? He whispered. Lyra's instruments spiked. Captain, the signal's coming from the Citadel. It's responding to you. The Viral's grace drifted closer to the structure, guided not by navigation but by instinct. The Citadel opened like an ancient flower, massive gates unfolding to reveal a glowing core inside, a sphere of light suspended in empty space. Lyra gasped, "It's alive." Voss stared into the light. It pulsed gently, like a heartbeat answering his own. "Welcome home, Aric." His breath caught. "No." The voice was clearer now. Familiar. Human. "We built this place for you. For us. For what comes after." Lyra's face drained of color. "There were humans here? Before us?" Voss didn't answer. He stepped closer to the viewing glass, his expression unreadable. "Not before," he murmured. "We were just never told." Suddenly, the ship shuddered. Energy surged through every corridor. The crew screamed as the systems overloaded. Lyra grabbed onto the console. "Captain, the ship is reacting to the signal. It's binding you to it." He stumbled, pain shooting through his body as the glowing veins under his skin pulsed brighter. "I can feel it pulling me in." "Disconnect. You have to let go." He grit his teeth, forcing his hands away from the console, but his body refused to obey. Blue light bled from his palms, forming tendrils that latched onto the ship's hull. The voice in his head grew louder. "You are the continuation. You are the flame that remembers." "Shut up," he growled. "I'm not your weapon. You are our legacy." The ship screamed, metal twisting, energy boiling. Lyra reached for him, tears streaming down her face. "Aric, please." He turned toward her, eyes burning like a dying sun. "Tell Zarth, tell him humans didn't make fire to destroy." "Then why?" He looked back at the light. "To remind the dark it can't win forever." With a final surge, the Viral's grace plunged into the Citadel. A flash brighter than a star tore across the void. In the silence that followed, fragments of alien metal drifted through space, glowing faintly blue. Somewhere in the wreckage, the core of the Citadel pulsed once, faintly, like a heartbeat waiting to wake. Silence. Cold and infinite. The kind of silence that only exists between stars. Then a flicker. Deep inside the ruins of the Viral's grace, something stirred. Energy crawled along the ship's broken hull like veins of blue lightning, igniting faint traces of life where only death should remain. Dr. Lyra gasped awake inside the shattered med bay. Her visor blinked red, oxygen at 8%, hull integrity below survivable threshold. Every bone in her body ached, but that wasn't what made her heart STO. Outside the cracked viewport, the massive alien citadel still floated, split open like a dying heart, bleeding golden light into the void, and at its center, suspended in that storm of light and debris, was him, Captain Aric Voss. He hung there, motionless, surrounded by streams of energy flowing through his body like rivers through mountains. His armor was gone, replaced by a glowing carapace of living metal, pulsing in rhythm with the Citadel's dying core. His eyes were closed. His pulse, if there was one, made the entire structure tremble. Lyra whispered, "Aric." Her voice barely carried in the vacuum, but the sensors in her suit picked up something impossible, a faint heartbeat echoing through the static. And then his eyes opened. They glowed brighter than any sun. "Doctor." His voice came through the calm, deep and calm. It wasn't just audio. It vibrated through her chest, through the metal, through space itself. "You should have left." Lyra's breath caught. "Aric, you're alive. The Citadel systems." "I'm part of them now," he interrupted, the faintest trace of pain in his tone. The signal, it wasn't a message. It was an invitation. Her visor crackled as data poured in. The Citadel's ancient network was awake, connecting through him, uploading, rewriting, remembering. "You're interfacing with Construct," she said. but it's rewriting you. Voss looked down at his hands, or what used to be hands. They shimmer like liquid metal, breaking apart and reforming, alive and restless. No, he said quietly. I'm rewriting it. From orbit, Commander Zarth and his crew watched in horror. The alien officers shouted over one another. The Citadel is reacting, power levels exceeding measurable range. Zarth leaned closer to the viewport. What is that thing around the human? The database calls the Starborn Protocol, a technician said nervously. A system designed to merge organic with artificial infinity. Zarth's antennae twitched. He's becoming a god. Back inside the Citadel, Lyra floated closer, her thrusters weak. Aric, you have to stop this. You're destabilizing reality itself. The gravity well is folding. I can't stop it, he said, his voice heavy with emotion. The Citadel was built to store knowledge. Every civilization that ever fell, every voice that ever went silent. They wanted someone to guard it, someone who wouldn't die. And it chose you? He looked past her into the endless dark. No, humanity did. The Citadel pulsed again, stronger now. Beams of light reached out, connecting to the wreckage around them. The remains of long-dead ships began to move. Alien hulls, human vessels, unknown craft from forgotten ages. One by one, they aligned toward the Citadel like moths to a flame. Lyra stared. It's calling the dead. Voss clenched his fists, light flaring through his veins. Not the dead, their memories. Suddenly, her calm filled with whispers, voices in every language she'd ever heard, and some she hadn't. Soldiers, scientists, mothers, children, billions of lives, all crying, all remembering. The weight of it hit her like a storm. You can't hold them all. Voss grimaced, energy sparking off his shoulders. I have to. Why? His answer was a whisper, almost lost to the hum of stars. Because someone has to remember who we were before we burn everything. The Citadel began to crack apart. Massive shards of light drifted outward as gravitational waves rippled across space. In the command ship above, Zarth gave the order. Retreat! The Citadel's collapsing. The crew didn't argue. Engines flared, and ships fled into hyperspace, their sensors screaming. But one vessel didn't move. Lyra stayed. She pressed her hand against the viewport, voice trembling. Aric, please come with me. Voss turned toward her, eyes glowing like twin novas. His voice softened. If I leave, this dies. The data, the history, the people who came before, all of it. Tears rolled down her cheeks, catching the flicker of light. You can't save the galaxy by dying in it. He smiled faintly, that old, weary smile she'd seen when he first ate the alien fruit and called death a bad flavor. Then maybe it's time to stop dying and start becoming. The Citadel's heart expanded, light flooding through every corridor. Voss's body dissolved into that light, not vanishing, but spreading. Every spark, every flicker carried his voice. You want to know why humans eat poison, Doctor? Because we don't fear what changes us. The light consumed everything. When Lyra awoke again, she was drifting in space. The Citadel was gone, replaced by a small, glowing star. Its energy readings were unlike anything on record. Stable, alive, whispering faintly across frequencies no machine could decode. She stared in awe, tears mixing with the frost inside her helmet. Voss! And then her calm crackled once. Still think I'm dead, Doc? Her heart stopped. Aric? Where are you? The voice was faint, echoing from the star itself. Everywhere. The calm went silent again, replaced by a faint hum, a heartbeat pulsing from the newborn sun. Across the galaxy, strange signals began to appear. Flashes of human code embedded in alien transmissions, blue energy waves healing broken satellites, dormant planets awakening under new light. Somewhere in the void, the legend began, the starborn ghost, the human who ate death and lit the stars. The new star burned blue, not the calm blue of a peaceful dawn, but the fierce, living flame of something awake. From across a dozen systems, telescopes caught its shimmer. Every sensor, every satellite pointed toward it. It pulsed like a heartbeat. Once every 10 seconds, a single rhythmic flash cut through the void. D, bright, deliberate, intelligent. For a week, the galaxy watched. For a week, no one understood. Then, on the 8th day, the flashes turned to so. ND, and the sound spoke. Humanity is not go. Any humanity has GR. Own. The message rippled through space like thunder. Across hundreds of alien worlds, communication hubs flickered, data streams scrambled, and every translator in every species rendered the same N. AIM, Captain Aric Voss, on the outer rim. In a smoky trading station, alien merchants stopped mid-transaction to stare at the transmission feed. On a desert planet, children of 5 different species gathered around a hollow screen to watch a ghost made of light speak like a god. And on the bridge of a warship orbiting the ashes of Carthos 9, Commander Zarth froze as his crew whispered in. "Ah, it's him," one said, "the human from the Viral's grace, the one who fused with the Citadel." Zarth's voice was low, heavy with something close to fear. He should be dead. "Sir, that is him." Inside the newborn star, awareness flickered like thought through flame. Captain Aric Voss was gone in body, but not in being. His consciousness stretched across light years, woven into magnetic fields and plasma flows. He could feel the heartbeat of suns, the hum of planetary cores, even the delicate motion of ships drifting through his radiance. He could feel everything, and yet, within the vastness of it all, he still felt the echo of his own humanity, that stubborn spark that refused to fade. It spoke in his mind with the voice of memory. "You're still you, Aric. Don't forget that." He smiled, or thought he did, and focused on the signal spreading from his core. "To all who can hear me," his voice echoed to the cosmos. "This is Captain Aric Voss, Terran Expeditionary Corps. If you fear humanity, don't. Fear what forgets how to hope." The response came from everywhere. On the frozen moon of Acrian 7, the reptilian Carrot Dominion broadcast a formal request for communication. In the silver spires of the Allery hegemony, scholars fell silent as their oldest star maps began glowing with blue fire, spelling out words in a long-dead human tongue. Even the warlike Thren Coalition, enemies of humankind for centuries, ceased their bombardment of human colonies. Something greater had entered their skies, and it spoke of peace, not conquest. Still, not everyone believed. In the shadows of deep space, within a black nebula where no light dared linger, the ancient architects watched. They were old, older than stars, older than flesh. They had built the first citadels long before humanity crawled from its oceans. And now one of their creations had chosen a human host. "This cannot be," one hissed, its form shimmering like a shadow made of code. "The flame was never meant for them." "They adapt to everything," another replied, "even to divinity." "The fire was built to preserve." The first snarled, "Not to evolve. If he continues, he'll awaken the others. The others are myths. Then pray they stay that way." The shadows faded, but their fear lingered. Back in known space, Dr. Lyra floated aboard a small human ship, the Horizon's Edge, now serving as a makeshift research station. The cabin lights flickered with blue energy every time the star pulsed. Her instruments danced with data she barely understood. Every reading said the same thing. The star wasn't decaying. It was growing. She whispered into her recorder, "Captain Aric Voss, Starborn Entity 1. His energy field has begun radiating communication frequencies across the galactic spectrum. The message repeats every rotation cycle. Humanity burns but never dies." Her hand shook. "He's teaching the galaxy the human code. Empathy through adaptation. It's rewriting AI constructs, repairing broken satellites, even reviving dormant biospheres. It's like he's healing the galaxy itself." She paused. "Or remaking it." On the third week, the light changed. The star flared brighter, deeper, and from its surface, massive arcs of plasma coiled outward, shaping into colossal wings of energy. From afar, it looked like a phoenix rising from the sun. The flare carried another message. Every end you feared, every silence you buried, starts again here. It wasn't just words. It was transformation. Across dozens of worlds, extinct plants bloomed again. Machines reactivated after centuries. Even dead moons glowed faintly blue for the first time in eons. The galaxy wasn't watching a supernova. It was watching rebirth. But for every miracle, balance demanded consequence. On the fringe of the outer silence, the architects stirred their ancient fleets. Their ships, dark, geometric titans, had slept for 1,000,000 years, powered up, engines purring like distant thunder. Their leader spoke through the void, voice like grinding stone. The flame was meant to remember us, not replace us. Now it must be extinguished. And deep within his blazing heart, Voss heard them coming. He smiled, his consciousness rippling through the star's corona. "Finally," he whispered, "something worth burning for." Far away, Lyra's ship trembled as her sensors detected the impossible, a formation of black vessels breaking through the dust clouds, heading straight for the newborn star. Her eyes widened. "They're coming for him." She activated her recorder one last time. Part of me thinks he knew this would happen. He didn't become a god to rule. He became light, so no one else had to be afraid of the dark. Outside, the star pulsed again, stronger, louder, brighter, as if answering her words. The hum turned to a roar. The fire spoke once more. "Let them come. I've been waiting." The void burned. Stars trembled in their orbits as the ancient architect fleet emerged from the black nebula, dark as broken glass and older than time. Each vessel was a monolith, vast, geometric, built of metals that drank starlight instead of reflecting it. Their arrival didn't just disturb gravity. Why, it bent reality. Every ship across the nearby sectors went silent. Every eye turned toward the newborn blue star at the center of it all. L, the one the galaxy now called Voss's light. And inside that star, consciousness waited. Captain Aric Voss felt their presence before their sensors could detect him. It wasn't sound or sight. It was something deeper, a vibration that rippled through the fabric of his new form. The architects, they came like cold gods reclaiming stolen fire. He sensed their intent as clearly as word. S, return the flame. It does not belong to you. Voss's voice spread through the corona, resonant and calm. "That's the thing about fire," he said, his tone echoing across light years. "Once it's lit, it belongs to everyone who needs it." The first shot came from the lead ship, a spear of black energy slicing across space. It hit the edge of the STA. And vanished. Then Voss moved. The entire star flexed, not with destruction, but with motion. Tendrils of plasma arched outward like wings, intercepting the architect fleet. The light that flared was an explosion. It was life, expanding, adapting, evolving. The void lit up in colors the galaxy had never seen before. In orbit far beyond the chaos, Dr. Lyra watched from the horizon's edge. Her crew was terrified. "He's fighting them," one whispered. "The human, the star is fighting back." Lyra's eyes filled with tears. "No," she whispered. "He's protecting us." The readings on her console spiked. The energy output wasn't just defensive. It was intelligent. Each plasma arc formed precise patterns, intercepting incoming fire, weaving protective fields around nearby planets. Voss wasn't merely reacting. He was thinking. "Aric," she whispered into the comm, though she knew there was no one left to answer. But a faint voice came through, distorted by static and heat. "Still watching, Doc?" Her breath caught. "Always." "Good. You might want to keep your distance. Things are about to get bright." The Architect fleet launched in full. Thousands of energy lances converge on the star, their combined force enough to vaporize a system. Inside the stellar core, Voss felt the impact, not as pain, but as pressure. His consciousness expanded to match it, stretching through the magnetic fields like veins of light. Every strike, every wave of energy only gave him more to work with. "You built weapons," he said, voice now a deep cosmic hum. "We became them." He flared. The star erupted. Shock waves tore through the void. But instead of destruction, the wave fronts transformed. Architect ships caught in the blast began to glow, their hulls turning transparent, their weapons melting into fractal shards of blue crystal. They didn't explode. They changed. They were being rewritten. Inside one of the collapsing Architect vessels, a single entity screamed through the comms. "He's reprogramming the energy. He's turning entropy into creation." "Impossible," another hissed. "He's human," the first one spat, voice full of awe and terror. "Of course it's impossible." Dr. Lyra's ship shook violently. The viewport filled with blue-white fire as the Architect fleet dissolved, each ship unraveling into light and vanishing into storm. And then silence. For a moment, the galaxy itself seemed to hold its breath. Then came the voice. Not loud, not divine, just steady, human. "It's done." Lyra leaned forward, gripping the console. "Aric, are you?" "Still here," he said softly. "Though here doesn't mean what it used to." She smiled through her tears. "You saved them all." "Not all," he replied, "but enough." "What happens now?" There was a pause, a hum that felt almost like laughter. "Now, I do what humans have always done. Document. I keep the fire going." The star pulsed once more, a heartbeat that rippled across the cosmos. Its light changed, no longer blinding blue, but warm gold, steady and alive. Voss had stabilized. He wasn't a weapon. He wasn't a ghost. He was a guardian. Weeks later, across the galaxy, stories spread. Farmers on distant colonies spoke of faint blue lights appearing before storms, saving crops from ruin. Miners on desolate moons told of unseen voices warning them before quakes. Entire ships reported navigation systems that corrected course on their own, a quiet hum whispering coordinates through the dark. And every time, the readings came back the same. Voss's light. Dr. Lyra stood on a balcony aboard the rebuilt Horizon's Edge, staring at the star that had once been her captain. Her voice was soft, carried by the hum of the observation deck. "He's out there watching," she said, "still teaching." Behind her, a cadet spoke. "Do you think he's alive?" She smiled faintly. "Alive, yes. Human." She paused. "More than ever." The cadet tilted his head. "Do you think he misses us?" Lyra looked up at the glowing star, its pulse slow and steady, like a quiet breath. And just for a moment, she thought she heard a familiar voice whisper through the static of her comms, warm, confident, and impossibly human. "You kidding, Doc?" "I am you." In the cold expanse of space, Voss's light burned brighter. not as a god, but as a memory that refused to die. His energy fed dying worlds. His voice drifted through radio waves. His warmth lit the frozen corners of the cosmos. He wasn't the end of humanity. He was proof that humanity never ends.